Here we go. Hey, everybody. This is Brett, Hoosier Carnivore in the meat locker. And I am ultimately psyched to have Dr. Robert Kiltz in the meat locker with me. Dr. Kiltz, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, Brett, it's my pleasure. This is a great spot to be. And we're going to have a great meal after this, I can see.
Oh, yeah. I've got a ribeye ready to go on as soon as this is over.
Oh, so, very nice. Very nice. I'm going to meet up with a couple of friends after this. Going to have some great ribeye for sure and enjoy.
All right. Well, hey, now that you're here, we got some people coming in. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you. Not that anybody doesn't already know, but can hit the highlights.
Well, Dr. Rob Kiltz, I'm a obstetrician gynecologist that also is a reproductive endocrinologist, a fertility specialist, and trained in standard American doctoring, and I kind of still practice a lot of it. Probably around 20 years ago, I started incorporating meditation, prayer, yoga, acupuncture to my fertility practice. And then some of my patients were doing this thing called paleo diet, and I had no idea what they were talking about. So I began to do a deep dive into reading about paleo diets, and then keto diet. I met Marie Emmerich, and then I tripped over carnivore, and I really took a deep dive. Personally, I had arthritis, psoriasis, migraines, kidney stones, ADHD, OCD, depression, and more. And keto made it better, but carnivore cured it all. And now I've just been blogging about it for years. And I've been almost full on carnivore for almost 15 years. I'm 68, almost 69. And this is the best amazing space to be, where there's so many amazing people, both in the keto space, the carnivore space, and we're really all just learning together.
Yep. I'll tell you what, I've met you in person at Hack Your Health. And dude, you're a good looking 68 years old.
I always say I'm 90 and everybody says, wow. But yeah, no, I got to tell you, I do walking, light weights, and I typically do one meal a day. It's fatty meat. I sometimes have some Kiltz's ice cream. Yeah. But most of the time it's just my fatty meat steak, bacon, eggs, butter, beef. And I've never felt better in my life.
Yeah, same here. I do beef, butter, bacon, and eggs most of the time. I throw in some seafood, shrimp, wild caught salmon. I always do the wild caught seafood. I think it's the most nutritious. It's worth the extra money to get that extra nutrition. And yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm 54, and I don't have any aches and pains. I don't have any bleeding gums anymore. My eyesight's actually gotten a little better. I just feel crisper and sharper. And now I'm getting back to the gym. I've been going for a few weeks now and doing some light weightlifting. Nothing serious. Just wanted to, do some medium weight, multiple reps, 2 or 3 sets, legs and arms. Not killing myself. Just trying to recover some strength that I feel like I've lost in the last probably 10 years or so.
Well, what's interesting, I always remind people that carry an extra 50, 7,500 pounds. They're pretty strong.
Yeah.
And their muscles are much stronger than people know. And by starting to do some walking and resistance work, we'll build it a little bit better, but you don't need big muscles to be strong. Really, the idea here is that you already are stronger than you know, but when you clear up the inflammation secondary to a plant-based low animal fat diet, you suddenly feel like amazing.
Yeah. That's something else I did too. I joined the Steak and Butter Gang right after Hack Your Health.
So we're all part of the SBG. I love the group. Yep. Bella's my other girlfriend, but don't tell Max or Tia. But I love Max and Bella. The whole team is amazing. But again, we're all a family, and that's the part I love about Chafee, Barry, Bella, Wiedemann. I mean, go ahead, Kelly Hogan. Just a list of people in this space is better than you'll ever know.
Oh yeah, and let's not forget about Carrie.
Listen, Healing Humanity. Carrie's like my hero in what he's doing, and Adam and so many other people, and just inspiration. I always love watching Carrie in his short videos. I'm gonna get in trouble for that. With Jen, and again, he's just our inspiration, and that's, listen. I'm in the standard medical community. I go to these meetings. It's boring, and we're just, the camaraderie and the intentionality of helping each and every one of us is just inspiring here.
Well, I just wanted to thank you again for coming on. And for those who haven't seen this, when we were at Hack Your Health, Dr. Kiltz signed my board. I have this cutting board, and it's signed by several people that were at Hack Your Health. Carrie, Dr. Chafee, Dr. Baker, Bella, they all signed it. And it's one of my most prized possessions. So I just wanted to show that off to you. And while we're talking about Healing Humanity, I just wanted to do a quick plug. I'm having a meetup this Sunday, and I rented a space at a shelter at a park that's on a lake. It's in a beautiful park here on the north side of Indianapolis. And I'm actually going to be, we're going to be grilling out. It's a bring your own meat and grill it. Lisa C., who's here in the chat, she's helping me organize it. She's bringing in another grill for us to use, and everybody's going to come, bring their own meat, and grill and have a good time. And I'm also going to be raising some money for Healing Humanity. And all the money that is donated, I am personally going to match dollar for dollar. And then we're going to do some giveaways, and it's going to be a great time. So that's Sunday, August 4th, starts at noon. I've got the pavilion. It holds 100 people. We're going to be there all day, hang out as long as you like. There's going to be a great crowd. I think I've got 20 or 25 people already signed up to come. So, so it's going to be a really good time. And Carrie sent me some stuff to give away too. I've got some Healing Humanity shirts. I've got one of these.
Nice. Okay. Good.
It's going to be given away, and some bumper stickers. And I've got a couple of books. And I'm also restoring and giving away a 90-year-old Griswold cast iron skillet that I acquired, and I'm restoring because I love doing cast iron. I love cooking in cast iron. And so I'm giving away as kind of the grand prize a number 9 size, which is a really decent size skillet. Flat bottom, large logo, very collectible, nice cast iron skillet. So
I love it. I wish I could be there. I'm at Keto Orlando Summit this weekend, Friday, Saturday. So if you're here, we'd love to, people to stop by and share all the great energy.
Yeah. I know I was on with in the carnivore in the keto cookout in Russ from Homesick Buckeye. He's going to be there, and you're going to be in good company. There's a lot of great carnivores that are going to be there. So if any of you are in the Orlando area, I see Ellie from Nourishment Redacted is in here. She lives over by Tampa, so I don't know if she's planning on going or not, but it'd be great to see her there. And talking about Hack Your Health, it's going to be in Tampa next year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can't wait to go, and we're going to go back again. We're going to do another meetup. We're going to probably do some other get together like Carrie did this time, and we're going to get all you guys together and cook steaks for you. It was a real pleasure making a tomahawk ribeye for you and Dr. Chafee and Dr. Baker and Dr. Ovadia, and for Carrie and Bella and all the people that were there. It was a lot of fun. Me and Ashley had a great time cooking for everybody.
It was pretty awesome, and to see so many of our really top notch people that are sharing such great energy, Chafee and Baker, and
Yeah.
just again, Bella was. I mean, just amazing people that were all. I mean, I'm inspired and awed by these people. That's the part I think is really. I'm learning from each and every one of them. I watch their videos, their lives, and get in the chats as much as I can.
Having all those people in the same room at the same time was just an incredible energy. It was just, it's hard to describe, what it was like having all of you there. But, I wanted to say congratulations. I heard in a chat that your daughter is pregnant.
Daughter's pregnant, married, very excited. Great guy from Italy. He's a physicist at Princeton. My daughter lives there. My daughter is just, I have one child, Pilar. So very excited about.
So this is your first grandchild.
First grandchild coming.
So you're going to be Grandpa Kiltz or
Kiltz,
Granddad, or what are they going to call you?
Kiltsy, probably.
Kiltsy?
Kiltsy.
That'd be great.
Yep.
All right. We did see one question up here. Let me highlight it. Dr. Kiltz, what are your thoughts about metformin for women with PCOS and insulin resistance?
Polycystic ovarian syndrome, also known as plant-caused ovarian sickness. All right. And insulin resistance, I don't even like to use that term because I don't believe insulin resistance exists personally. But they use metformin in order to control as an oral agent type 2 diabetes, which I'm not a big fan of. A lot of my docs love to use metformin. I rarely prescribe it. I talk more about nutrition and how important eliminating plants, maximizing fatty meat is. So I tend not to use the metformin very much. So I'm a big believer that insulin resistance doesn't exist. Insulin's job is to make fat in the liver. I think it does a really good job of that. Don't you? All right.
I do. And I recently saw a thing where these people, these kind of newcomers to carnivore, were saying, well, our bodies run on sugar. Don't we need sugar? And, I just kind of explained to him, and you can tell me if I'm on the mark here, but I said, our body makes all the sugar that we ever need. Our liver, if we're running low on sugar, our liver will convert protein to glucose, and we get all the sugar that we ever need just from eating meat and fat.
I guess the question is, what's the function of sugar?
Yeah. To maintain, why do we need a blood sugar level?
Well, glucose is just another monosaccharide that's critical for the glycocalyx and the glycobiome. Glycosylation is critical. These are some words that most people haven't heard potentially. Glycation is the abnormal binding of sugars to cells or molecules of our body, which causes rust. Hemoglobin A1C that's elevated is glycated hemoglobin. So a tremendous amount of glucose is damaging our cells, which causes diseases, cancer, hypertension, diabetes, liver, lung diseases, all of them. And so glucose, you're right, it's made by our liver, but interesting enough, when you eat meat, you actually are eating sugars, because the glycocalyx of all cells contains sugars. Glucose, mannose, N-acetylglucosamine, N-acetylgalactosamine. There are about 9 sugars circulating in our body that are critical for what we call glycosylation. I'm gonna show you a quick little picture, which maybe you can't see it because of but if you look up the glycobiome and glycosylation, you'll get a better sense of it. basically glucose in the liver from your diet must be converted to fat to provide the ATP precursor, acetyl-CoA, which comes from fat alone. So, I mean, the reason we get fat is because we're supposed to. In order to survive famine, nesting, hibernation, migration, and going out and finding all of this meat easily is not easy. And so finding food is hard. So you better make fat fast in order to survive all of those natural human experiences.
Yeah. And that's a good springing off point to talking about what I call the human superpower that we're all born with. And that is the power to fast.
To fast.
How important is fasting?
Well, we naturally fast because most of us likely didn't get 3 to 6 meals a day. We might have been lucky to have 3 meals a week. So we're naturally fast because we didn't have all the food at our ready access. So the food you eat must be either converted to fat in the liver, amino acids and sugars via insulin, or the fat you eat, which goes to the lymphatics distributed everywhere. So the energy for our cells is strictly from our adipose tissue all the time. So when you fast, you actually allow the gut and the glycocalyx of the gut to heal. You let your digestive system say, yeah, thank you for the rest. Now you can simply, again, you don't switch from burning sugar to burning fat. You always only burn fat from your adipose tissue as your energy. You also can burn your fat coming from your liver in the form of lipoproteins. A lipoprotein, LDL, HDL, VLDL, IDL, and chylomicrons. Chylomicrons come from the gut. All the others come from the liver. They're basically the delivery truck for amino acids, simple sugars, fatty acids, cholesterol, minerals, and vitamins. So as we have no fasting means you have no food in your gut. So how many days does it take to have no food in your gut? 2 to 3, 3 to 5, 5 to 7. If you're eating a high plant-based lean meat diet, you're getting a lot of fiber, vegetables, and proteins, which basically the plants take time to digest. The protein breaks down pretty readily, but it converts to sugar in the liver anyway. So I do a 2 to 3 day fast once a month, a 5 to 7 day fast twice a year, January, July. So I think it's one of the most powerful things you can do. It's called food freedom.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And that length of fasting is very healthy for us, I believe. And as far as like clearing out the gut, I can tell you, for me, it's about 3 days, because I've done my longest fast. I did at the beginning of this year. I did a 12-day fast.
Wow, amazing.
And after 3 days, I didn't go to the bathroom again other than to just urinate.
Yeah, I didn't. When I do my 5-day fast, 7-day fast, I often won't have a bowel movement for 2 weeks. You see, the function of when you're eating a carnivore diet, there's very little waste. The majority of it is taken into your bloodstream and your lymphatics, distributed everywhere. The amino acids and sugars in the meat are converted to fat in the liver via insulin. And so the clearing of the gut is one of the best things you can do. Your bowel movements, when your colon is full and your rectum is full, then suddenly you'll feel the urge to defecate, but no more bloating, no more pain, no more bleeding, no more hemorrhoids. They're gone on carnivore. And so it is the proper human diet, as our good friend Ken Berry has shared with us. It really is the most healing nutrition. As a fertility specialist, I see so many women suddenly getting pregnant. Libido increases, sperm counts and morphology increased, PCOS gone, plant-caused ovarian sickness gone.
Yeah.
And so this is one of the most important things that I ever learned in my life.
Yeah. And I heard you say that you're a fertility specialist and an endocrinologist. So that has to do with the endocrine system, correct?
Yes, I'm a reproductive endocrinologist. So I
Right.
specialize in fertility and generally the endocrine systems that relate to that. But thyroid dysfunction is one of the most common problems we all suffer from. One of the number one drugs prescribed. What causes thyroid dysfunction? Arugula, broccoli, kale, cauliflower, asparagus, leeks, spinach, sweet potatoes, tomatoes, potatoes, coffee, tea, alcohol, grapes, peaches, pears, flaxseed, hemp seed, soybeans, garbanzo beans, wheat, peanuts, almonds. Did I catch up most of those? So
Yeah.
if those things cause damage to your thyroid gland, guess what? They damage your ovaries and testicles, which are also endocrine organs. It damages your adrenals. It damages your hypothalamus and pituitaries. Gee, the healthiest foods we're taught to eat are goitrogenic, tumorgenic, and they cause damage to every cell and reproductive endocrine system of our bodies.
Yeah. I think, if you heal your endocrine system, carnivore heals that endocrine system. And if your endocrine system is healed, then your fertility is going to open right up and voila.
Voila is right. I always say, feed them steak and eggs every day, flatter them, tell them he or her is amazing every day, and make love to them every day. It really, the simple answer is so straightforward. We are ancient hunters. We are not pigs, cows, and sheep. We're meant to eat raw fatty meat. Cooked meat is actually not as healthy as raw fatty meat and organ meats. And by eating that way, and a high protein diet causes protein poisoning and rapid starvation. People don't know that you should be eating a fatty meat diet. And if you actually look at most of the meat in the meat locker here, it's fatty, but it's not as fatty as when you actually slaughter the animal and eat the fat, the visceral fat, the omental fat, the perinephric and renal fat, the subcutaneous, intramuscular, and the intraosseous or the bone marrow fat. So people don't know that adipose tissue contains every building block, every mineral, vitamin that your body requires, and fat is anti-inflammatory. It's so simple.
It is. It's so simple. Talking about fertility, when you get someone new in the clinic or maybe just someone asking you about carnivore, what kind of would you say is your standard sales pitch for carnivore to a new patient? Somebody walking in there, they're eating pasta, they're eating all these things, and they're like, doctor, I can't figure out why I'm not getting pregnant.
Well, I usually sort of go through the history, the ages, how long they've been trying, any babies or pregnancies, any other disorders, diabetes, hypertension, cancer, stroke, anything else that they might be suffering from, but gastrointestinal disorders. And then I ask them their height and weight. And then I ask them, do they eat fruits, vegetables, seeds, nuts, chicken, turkey, fish, pasta, bread, yogurt, milk, pizza. And most of them are yes, but they also say organic, clean, healthy. And I usually know when I hear those words, they're not lions. And then I ask the question, is sugar good for you? And they always say, well, no, it's not. I said, well, where does sugar come from? Meat or plants? Plants. So right away, we're sort of beginning to lay the groundwork here that ultimately heroin, cocaine, marijuana, nicotine, caffeine come from
Plants.
Estrogen, progesterone, testosterone actually come from plants that we use in our pharmacologic agents. They don't come from animals, plants, okay? So it begins to set the tone here to help go like, well, wait a minute. Well, yeah, that's what I eat. And then I began to say, well, keto's okay. And everyone's heard of keto. And keto is a high fat, medium protein, low to no what? Plants. Low to no plants, not no plants, low to no plants.
Right.
And so, I always start there, and that's my sales pitch. And listen, and did we evolve out of Africa as grazing animals or carnivore animals? We're ancient hunters. We're not grazers, where we didn't come out of the trees to eat the grass, but eat the grass eaters. And so, it's still a hard one. Changing a religion, politics, and diet is hard, right? And so, but is being infertile easy? No. Is taking all the shots, pills, and dissections easy? No. We are born for hard, and carnivore is the healthiest, most amazing thing you can do. That what I recommend to everyone. Hey, let's get to carnivore. But if you're not carnivore, you can at least do keto, paleo. Maybe do some fasting, eat a stick of butter a day. And interesting enough, if you feed a cow fat, what happens to the cow?
It probably gets leaner and makes more milk.
It dies.
Oh, it dies. Oh, well, that's because cows are herbivores.
Well, because they're ruminant animals, and a ruminant requires what inside the rumen? Bacteria and yeast. Guess what happens when you give an organism bacteria and yeast? The microbes die. They can't, the rumen doesn't work. They cannot break down the fibrous food to simple sugars. See, it's interesting. Most people think that the bacteria and the yeast make butyric acid and fat. Okay, so when you make wine and beer with bacteria and yeast and grains or fruit, does it make fat or does it make alcohol?
Ooh.
There's no fat in beer and wine. It makes alcohol.
Alcohol gets turned to sugar, and sugar gets turned to fat.
The sugar in the liver, in the gut, the grains and fruit that are fermented make alcohol, not fat. So I think we've got it wrong. Everyone thinks that the bacteria in the gut are making fat for us. They're making alcohol.
Oh, yeah.
We're fermenting in our gut, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. So we're all walking around with alcohol. That's why we have brain fog. But it's all a kind of a crazy story that ultimately eating fat, adipose tissue, is the best thing you can do.
Right. I know. I feel better doing it.
Much better. Much better.
And, got another question.
Go ahead, Brett.
Yeah. So, is intramuscular fat in humans unhealthy? If so, why do we look for marbled meat in beef?
Well, I guess the first question is, what fat on your body is bad?
Right.
None. The fat in your body is critical. If you have no fat or very, very low fat, you're actually at risk of dying fast. So your body stores fat you eat, and it makes fat in the liver out of amino acids and sugars via insulin. So this idea that visceral fat is bad for you makes no sense, because fat is actually the building block and the fuel for your body. When a bear hibernates and it's gestating, it loses no muscle mass, no bone mass. It loses only adipose tissue. Well, where did the adipose tissue go? It went to create ATP, CO2, and H2O, and the amino acids, sugars, fatty acids, minerals, and vitamins went to build your baby in utero. And so intramuscular fat, visceral fat, intraosseous fat, it's all just fat. The problem is, so hyperphagia is the overeating, and bears become hyperphagic in the late summer and fall in order to get fat to get fat enough in order to get pregnant, and then in order to hibernate and gestate or migrate. So is adipose and fat bad for any of us? It is not. But because we're eating and eating and eating constantly, never stopping the day you're born to the day you die, 99% of people are eating fruits, fiber, vegetables, seeds, nuts, lean meat, no fat, which is glycating. And all of our diseases start from in utero and take us through our lifespan until death. And so what fat is bad? None. Obesity is not the cause of disease. Now, why is obesity linked to more diseases?
Probably just by association.
Right. What did you eat to get fat?
Yeah, you ate the carbs and sugar and.
Well, I like to say plants. Because where do carbs and sugar come from?
Come from plants.
Where does heroin, cocaine, marijuana come from?
Yep, plants.
Right. Isn't this pretty amazing? So if you have an overweight friend that goes carnivore, how healthy do they feel in 2 to 4 weeks, losing almost no weight?
They still feel much better.
Amazing. Yeah. So the last I looked, if you're skinny and a famine's coming, war, pestilence, disease, or hibernation or migration, you better have some fat on your body.
Right. Yep. Totally agree. Hey, I got a question from Ava. Thank you. I wanted your advice on this today. Today is my day 1 on carnivore diet.
Nice. Amazing.
I ate ground beef, some poultry with skin, bacon, and I'm not hungry, but have huge cravings. Any advice for a beginner, please?
Enjoy.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Listen, we're here to enjoy food. When you go carnivore, you may for the first week, 2, 3, or 4, like overeat. You might gain some weight because carnivore doesn't mean you're going to be skinny, by the way. All right.
Right.
But suddenly your inflammation goes away, your brain is clear, everything feels better, and you realize that this is the proper human diet that we've all been meant to eat. And the propaganda is telling you eat fruits and vegetables, seeds, nuts, and fat, and being fat's the cause of disease. So listen, it might take a week, 2, 3, or 4. Enjoy it. If you want to do 2 to 3 meals a day, you want to have some snacks, you want to try some of Kiltz's ice cream, enjoy. But it will go away pretty quickly and you'll feel more amazing than ever. And so, I love food. I sometimes have a cookie, cake, or ice cream and I don't lose my shirt over it. I still feel fantastic. But I make sure I add fat, cream, iced cream, sour cream, butter to any of those things in order to balance out the fat and the plant sugars or the meat proteins in my diet. So
Eva, I don't know where you're starting from, but congratulations on starting. That's a major, it's a big win. Today's a big day. You should write down today's date as your starting day, because a year from now you're going to wonder how long you've been on it. And, this is a good way to track your progress. And I guess one of the things I tell people when they're starting out is spoil yourself a little bit. Have a ribeye, have some shrimp, have a lobster tail if you want. Spoil yourself, because if you just dive into this thing and you just eat hamburger patties and eggs and you get bored with it, and then in a couple weeks, and then, you kind of lose your enthusiasm or your momentum and you end up falling off the wagon. So I'd say, spoil yourself a little bit, have, all the good food. If you're looking for guidance, definitely check out Dr. Kiltz's channel. He's on at 5 o'clock most mornings with the mighty Kiltz tribe. Check out those people. Check out the Steak and Butter Gang. If you want to kind of join a community now, it's not free to join the Steak and Butter Gang. It's like $30 a month. but they will give you the guidance and give you a plan to move forward. But yeah, congratulations for starting, and we're here for you. We're all here for you. Oh, your mic is off. Nope.
Okay, it muted.
Hey, there you are. There you are.
Is it all right now?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Good.
So it's an investment into your health here. Meat is actually more affordable than portable. Bacon, eggs, butter, beef, salt. That's kind of what I go to. I always have a little cream. And again, making a little Kiltz's ice cream, you don't have to put any sugar in it. And you make it fresh. It's amazing. And Bella's making it too. And she's got a little more eggs in it, and you can do it. But I think you're rock on, Brett. And this is the most easiest thing to do. And don't worry about if you're craving. And again, you're going to transition, but hard it becomes easy in this.
You know, it wasn't a topic I was going to bring up, but being that she said she's having huge cravings, I would imagine she's like the rest of us, and she's a sugar addict. And you know, you're probably going to go through some sugar withdrawals in the next few weeks. And if you're drinking diet soda, that could trigger some hunger cravings. So maybe try to cut back on that. But don't try to do too much at once. You know, depending on where you're coming from. But just know that your body's it needs some time, and it's got some changes to make. And you have to let it happen. Let the changes happen.
Your point of withdrawing, we're withdrawing from heroin, essentially. Sugar, heroin, cocaine, these are all very, very addictive. Even nicotine are very addictive substances that come from plants. So it's going to take some time. But you know what? I don't label myself an addict because I think we want to label ourselves as like, I'm a carnivore. Even if you're touching and eating some of those things, I'm still a carnivore. And you're going through the withdrawal. It's all good. But again, more, as you said, the support groups and talking about it is really important.
It is. And being a part of a community is important too. So stick with us. We're all here for you. Looks like Tina, she's been doing carnivore for 3 months, trying to help hubby with asthma. He has about 15 pounds to lose. Can carnivore help with asthma?
Well, interesting. So when I went carnivore, 2 years later, I realized I hadn't used any of my upper respiratory drugs. I'm like, whoa. And so remember, pollen comes from what?
Plants.
Plants, dumb, simple. And the glycocalyx of the plant is highly inflammatory to our bodies, both in the respiratory, the gastrointestinal, and then throughout our circulation in every cell of our body. But absolutely, carnivore is the kick-ass most amazing thing for all diseases, including asthma, which is a big killer. And so everyone thinks the pollen in the air is the worst thing. Nope, it's the pollen in the plants of the food you eat. And remember, we don't lose fat, we use fat. Fat is the fuel for the Ferrari. We never use or burn sugar as energy. We use it for the glycobiome and the glycocalyx. And so I don't ever tell people to lose weight, ever. When you go carnivore and you're on the proper lifestyle and suddenly you're getting to the gym regularly, or you're going for a walk and lifting some weights, or you're going to the art studio or whatever you're doing, the extra pounds will be like gone if you're so worried about them.
I always say weight loss is a carnivore side effect, not our main goal. You know, the main goal is to heal the 40 years of abuse, of abusive eating that you've put your body through. And now you need a chance to heal. And I've got kind of a theory that I've put out there, and you can tell me how if I'm on track or off base. But we've all got DNA. DNA is the blueprint for all of us as humans. The only way we as humans don't reflect what our DNA says we should look like is through our voluntary abuse that we put ourselves through with diet, exercise, lack of exercise, bad diet. And if you get on the proper human diet, your body will naturally restore itself to the blueprint. I mean, it's not very medically sophisticated idea, but it's my theory.
I tell everyone science and medicine is just too complicated. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with your body. The structure, the size, the age, the weight, the gender. There's nothing wrong with the metabolic process. We don't have a metabolic process problem. We have a plant poisoning problem and protein poisoning problem. And so, as you say, it really is, we've been brainwashed. Slaves, soldiers, peasants, and prisoners. We're brainwashed. We're brainwashed since before you were born. Our parents, their parents, their parents, their parents. And so this is a controlling diet. A plant-based diet is controlling. And domesticated dogs and cats are wild lions and wolves. And when you feed a wolf and a lion a plant, they become docile, domesticated. That's it. And someone mentioned essential omega-3s, okay? I don't even really think we need to focus on those things because I have no idea how many minerals, vitamins, or which essentials are in the food I eat. If I eat the fatty meat, organ meats, I know I'm getting all the minerals, vitamins, and the building blocks for my body. And I've eliminated the toxins that are in the plant products that we've been so readily brainwashed to consume.
Yep.
So this is a new brainwashing. We're lying. It's a better brainwashing all day long.
We're brainwashed through marketing, through medical advice, and it's going to be a tough hill to climb. Getting back to kind of healing humanity, humanity needs to be healed, in my opinion, not only physically but mentally.
And the healing as you spend mentally, remember, it's all the physiologic environmental factors that we've been brainwashed and our brain is damaged. So when you go carnivore and you eliminate the plants, you can hear this story that you're sharing, Brett, and it makes sense now.
Right. Yep.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
How long did it take you on carnivore to feel back to the lion that we really are?
I would say I started feeling really good as soon as I started beating away my sugar cravings, probably at about 2 months, maybe 3 months. I felt great. I started feeling good almost immediately, but I really started feeling my best probably 2 to 3 months in.
Amazing.
Yeah. And now I'm 500. I'm a little over 500 days now. And feeling great. I started about the same time Carrie from Homestead House started, right around St. Patrick's Day of last year.
Cool.
I've heard you say before, we're overhydrated. Drink less water. That's kind of the opposite of what we're told. Again, it's another message that we're constantly bombarded with, that we should be constantly hydrating, drinking like a gallon of water a day. Can you kind of take us through your philosophy on hydration?
Well, we likely evolved around water holes. But going to a water hole can be very dangerous. And we didn't have, bottles and canteens to carry around all the time. So your body makes water. Fat is broken down into ATP, CO2, and H2O. And
Yep.
every protein you make is actually making water. And so we likely dilute our bodies and our both our gastrointestinal digestive processes, and we're likely overhydrating because most of it is just going out in our urine. And this idea that it cleanses our bodies, I mean, it's not like washing ourselves on the outside. Your body knows what it's doing anyway. So my bet is, I'll often do a dry fast for, a couple of days a year, but not that often. I do mostly mineral water personally. I'm off coffee now I didn't drink it at all last year. I love coffee, but I've been off it now for another 5 months. And so I think we just drink too much water. Again, what other organisms drink as much water as we do? Carry around a bottle all the time. Almonds, none. Look at the animals. You get most of their water from the plants they eat. And when you eat fat, guess what fat contains? Water.
Yeah, I guess that's why I didn't know at Hack Your Health if you caught Dr. Berg's thing he did about fasting, fasting with doing a dry fast, and how we can still stay hydrated through a dry fast. And I'm glad that you mentioned, that we create ATP, CO2, and H2O from using fat. ATP powers our mitochondria. We breathe out the CO2, and then we hydrate ourselves internally with the water.
We pee out our extra water. But yeah, you're making enough. Now, if you're in an environment where you're losing a lot of water, that's when you become dehydrated. Right. But if you're in an environment where you're not losing a lot of water, and your water needs are much less, your hydration with water is much less, and likely we drank water from a pond that was full of minerals and other salts that I think are critical. So again, I agree, just much less. But we're so used to it. It's kind of like the brain is saying, "Oh, drink." So,
how do we know if we're properly hydrated?
Drink when you're thirsty.
Yeah.
Drink when you're thirsty. That's all.
I kind of go by the color. So I know if it's clear, I don't need to drink any more water for a while.
Well, I agree with
dark,
that.
I probably need to drink some more water.
Although no other animal looks at its pee or poop in the way we do.
That's true.
And so I just, once again, imagine, well, I'm thirsty. I go a whole day without drinking water quite often. I fly an airplane and I don't drink water purposely because I don't want to have to pee in the plane. And so I find that, wow, I went like 8 hours without drinking anything, and I'm still got to get out of the plane and go pee. And so I think you're right. Look at it. Like if someone comes to me and we think they're dehydrated, I say, let me see their urine. But for most of us that are just otherwise functioning normally, your thirst will kind of tell you that. But our thirst has been radically manipulated by the things we drink and eat, which I think makes us more thirsty.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I kind of do the same thing. I'm in a couple of bass fishing leagues, and we're out on the boat for 8 hours at a time during a fishing tournament. So I always try to hydrate the day before, because I've read that you don't hydrate when you're drinking. You hydrate, you have to come into it already hydrated. And then I may drink like 1 16-ounce bottle of water while I'm on the boat. I'll pee before I get on the boat, and then I'll pee after I get on the boat. and I never have to pee while I'm on the boat. So, and I never, and I don't feel bad, and I don't feel overly thirsty. So yeah.
It's really an amazing concept. And their glycobiome, so the sugar layer that layers every cell and vessel of our body, actually it holds the water. It grabs onto it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so our glycocalyx, that's properly cared for. So the more sugar you eat, the more damage to the glycocalyx, which causes leaky gut, leaky vessels, which doesn't hold the water properly, which actually contributes to diarrhea and fluid loss. So that's an important thing. And the fact that we need to drink, we feel like we're thirsty because the glycocalyx isn't holding on to the water the way it should. And just kind of imagine, right, the soil that has plants in it, it tends to retain and hold more water than soil that has no vegetation. So the glycocalyx is like the plants in the soil, which is critical for the epithelial survival.
We got a question here from Ellie at Nourishment Redacted. She's got a great channel. You guys go check her out. Still constipated on carnivore after 15 months. Bristol type 1 once a week. Then I have times where I have painful cramps and lots of gas. Going to the doctor soon.
Well, 15 months, still a lot of healing. Think of diverticulitis, diverticulosis, colitis, Crohn's, IBS. These damaged diseases take a long time to heal for some people. Plus, you may have an abscess or a diverticulosis, which is also highly inflamed and take a long time. So now, constipation is bloating, pain, gas, often bleeding. But if you actually, fatty meat fasting is one way to heal it. Add more fat. Magnesium will help with that. But I think it just takes a long time to heal, and from time to time. Now, again, I poop harder when I go more longer with fasting. And it takes a while to come out. I've got to wait for the colon or the rectum to fill up, then to press on the rectum anus and say, okay, it's time to open up. The problem is we have such neuroses over our bowel habits. Our brain is like, oh no. And so it takes time for the connection between the colon. The other thing about the colon, remember that's neuromuscular. So the nerves and the muscles have been damaged after years of a standard American diet. Remember, a standard American diet is low in fat, high in plant fibers and protein. So all the neuromuscular disorders take a long time to heal on a fatty meat fasting diet. So a little bit is just patience. Get yourself a colonoscopy, make sure, go to the doc, make sure nothing else going on. Sure. But I would say most of it is get a squatty potty and be patient. Don't ever, like for me, I can't predict when I'm going to have a bowel movement. I don't have it every day, maybe every 3 to 5 days. Sometimes I go 2 weeks, no more bloating. I feel great. But I sometimes get a little neurotic when, like, it's been 2 weeks. I wonder if I'm going to blow up or something.
Right. You can't help but to get nervous if it's been 2 weeks.
Right on.
Right
on. But you're right. It is so bad. And I've had such really tough times and hard stools. But I think it's because I went 55 years and it takes time. It may never heal up completely to what it should be if you were always a strict carnivore.
Yeah. I guess one thing I would tell Ellie is up the fat until things loosen up. And I think I've heard Dr. Chafee say that too. And maybe track your macros through like Carb Manager and actually see what your fat to protein percentages are. Maybe your fat is a little lower than you actually think it is.
And I don't know what
you're doing to track, but
interesting. most fat you eat is absorbed in the lymphatics, never makes it to the colon.
Never makes it.
You almost never see fat in the toilet. It's not
true.
getting down there. It's absorbed in the lymphatics, distributed in your body. That's really it.
So I know the colon, just getting into anatomy a little bit, the colon pulls water from the waste material as it's traveling through there. So obviously all that water is getting pulled out, that stool's getting hard, and then it's having trouble moving, I guess.
No, because it's trouble moving, not because of its shape or size or texture. It's having trouble moving because the neuromuscular bundles of the colon have been damaged due to chronic inflammation. Remember, fermentation of fibers and plants and sugars in the colon are highly inflammatory. Yeah. Heat, gas, alcohol. What does alcohol do to your neuromuscular bundles? It damages them. So I believe it's not the size, shape, but in general, if you already have this very mega colon, and so now your mega colon is being damaged. Remember, why is it on a fiber-filled diet, the colon's always moving? Because the colon says, this is inflammatory stuff, get it out of here. And if you're having a bowel movement every day, well, then your bowel is always filled with inflammatory stool, right?
Yeah.
Does the body want to hold on to an inflammatory stool? No, it wants to get rid of it. Now, when you're on a carnivore diet, the stool is not inflammatory. The colon is not saying, oh, I better get rid of this. But remember, most of the food is absorbed. You have very little going to the colon anyway. So it takes time to get enough stool packed in it to send it out to the dump.
Send it out to the dump, literally.
That's it. That's it. And remember, a bowel movement is normal. My bet is it's normal less frequently on a carnivore diet. Now, let's say we eat the animal. We eat the animal. Did we eat the intestines and the food in the intestines? Probably not. I wouldn't. It smells. It doesn't taste good. But we probably, again, we ate the organ meats. We might have cleaned out the bowels and eaten the tripe or the intestines, but we went for the fat. Fat is where it's at.
So Fred asked, do you two operate on intuitive eating and follow your appetite? Wife has less appetite. I worry she may be under-eating and affecting her hormones.
Well, this idea,
okay.
So this idea of overeating or undereating is just a modern way of wrong. I mean, you killed the animal, you ate as much as you can, you wanted to get as many fatty calories inside you to create the fat, store the fat. I mean, that's really what we should be thinking about. We are very neurotic on, oh, you're eating too much, you're not eating enough. If you're bulimic, cachectic, sarcopenic, you have very little fat on your body, well, then there's a problem. You're not eating enough fat or enough food. But if the idea that your hormones are affected by your weight, if you're too skinny, yes, and most of it's damaged by a plant protein low-fat diet. Because remember, the plants contain hormone endocrine disruptors, chemicals, antigens, and glycating agents that damage the normal function of your endocrine system. So 3 failed IVF, 2-month carnivore, fatty meat, 1 or 2 meals a day if you want, you'll feel better. More fatty calories is less likely to hurt you than under caloric intake. But if you have extra fat on your body, well, you can fast all day long, because what is the building block for your body? Adipose tissue. And so unexplained infertility is inflammatory. It's caused by plant sugars, plant antigens, plant chemicals, fermentation of plants, and excess exercise, because all of us are exercising way too much. No animal says, let me go for a run in the savannah.
Right.
None.
Yep. Yeah, I do pretty much intuitive eating and follow my appetite. Like the past 3 mornings, I ate bacon and eggs for breakfast. This morning, didn't feel like it. Wasn't craving it, so I didn't have it. So I waited and I ate some burger patties and bacon at lunch, and now I'm going to have a steak after this. So
I don't label breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Yeah.
Because those are historic memes to get your brain thinking, I've got to eat. Bing, ring, bell. So I do 1 meal a day, and I'll maybe have a little snack or two. Might be some salami, might be some butter, might be some bacon or an egg, but 99% 1 meal. And I keep butter in the fridge or the freezer. I eat it like cheese.
Nice.
And so I still say, if your mind says 1 meal a day, because most of us are eating too many calories. So one way to eat fewer calories is only eat 1 meal a day. Isn't that kind of easy?
And, if the wife is having less of an appetite, the longer she does carnivore and the more she eats and heals, her appetite is likely going to open up. And they talk about that a lot in the Steak and Butter Gang, about your appetite opening up once you're properly fed. And
more feasting, more feasting, more priming. So, this idea that I'm overeating or undereating, if we just get rid of that, like we throw out all the other addictive substances in our house, when you're hungry, eat, enjoy it. Food is meant to be enjoyed also. But as you said, when you're carnivore, your appetite changes, and add more fat, because otherwise you're eating too much protein could be a big problem for the undereaters. Remember, the fat, the adipose tissue, the least cooked adipose tissue contains more healing properties, more minerals, vitamins, and building blocks of your body, by the way.
Yeah.
Pemmican.
Hey, we got this jokester jumped into our question here.
Oh no! Grandpa Kelsey.
There you go. Hey, how do you mere mortals achieve the supreme level of energy that Dr. Kiltz operates on a regular basis? He does have a great energy, Dr. Kiltz. You do.
Well, I feel very, very, very blessed. Hang on 1 second for everyone. Don't leave me. I'm just finishing up.
We're right at about an hour. We'll wrap up here as soon as Dr. Kiltz gets off.
Oh, that's okay.
Cool.
When my wife calls, I answer.
Hey, I get that.
Except I'm in the operating room, but I have someone else answer.
That's right.
But again, listen, I generally are high energy, but I can tell you that this has given me more energy than everything I've ever realized, less inflammation. I took a 10-minute nap before we were on here. I was feeling tired. I take a nap. I reset the synapse. I feel energetic. I actually called my friend. I said, I'm feeling tired. I don't think I'll make dinner. And he said, what? Take a nap, do your live. I'll see you tonight. I did those two things and I'm feeling great. I'm going.
Kind of bouncing off that, you dedicate so much time and passion to this. We really appreciate everything you do. And where does that drive come from? Is it come from just you want to help people because you're a doctor? Or, where does this drive that you have come from?
God.
Comes from God. Good answer.
God. Listen, God is the most powerful, important thing in the universe, and God is everything, and God is us. We are the gods. I have faith in God. I mean, Jesus Christ to me is the most amazing dude ever created. He's written some words and ideas. He never carried a sword. He didn't ask for your money, and he didn't say you can go and you can't. So ultimately, that's the most important thing to me, and faith in God. And I became a doctor to help people. But what I realized after a while, I was hurting people including myself. So
Yeah.
I figured, well, I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it for the mission of healing humanity. And I think, again, all of us should donate to healing humanity because we're all doing this together. We're healing our brothers and sisters, our children, their children, their children. And so, I'm not here to fight against anyone's concepts and ideas. I'm just sharing an idea that is like so rockin' amazing. And I've learned from you and Carrie and Cordelia and Susan and Lisa, Nelson, Dr. Vasquez. I mean, we're all in this together. It doesn't matter your label, MDDO, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Each and every one of us has God within us, and we're capable of learning. And the more I listen to new and different ideas, I'm just inspired. And John was here. We were doing some filming the other day. Oh my God, love the energy for what healing humanity is doing. And nobody has as much energy as our good friend Carrie and Homestead Howe and Jen and again.
Yeah. Hey, can you maybe talk about your experience with the filming for Healing Humanity? We know you're going to be in the movie. Can you maybe just spend a minute talking about that, and we'll wrap things up.
Well, I grew up in LA, kicked out of school in a gang, couldn't read. I grew up in Hollywood, so I think I always wanted to be in the movies in one way or another. And but I listen. It is so inspiring to be part of this. And Carrie and Adam, we did a great shoot when I was out in Austin, and John came here to Sarasota. I was on the potter's wheel doing some painting and just kind of chatting. And I think each of us, and that's why I encourage all of us to blog and share your story. Listen, I'm interested in interviewing everyone on our blog and podcast because your story helps others that are suffering like learn something new and different that goes like, well, wait a minute. I got a call from a friend I haven't seen in like 5 or 8 years. He went to see my cardiologist because of his cholesterol. My cardiologist told him, oh, call Kiltz. Like my cardiologist said, call Kiltz about carnivore diet.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow. Dr. Berkery is an amazing cardiologist. He said to me, oh, you're fine. High CAC score. We did a CT angiogram. I was fine. And he said, stay on carnivore.
Yeah.
So how is it? I'm like a kid in a candy store. We're at the amusement park.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. And I'm excited to have my meetup. And we're going to be raising money for Healing Humanity there. And I enjoyed cooking for Carrie and Adam while they were filming you guys there in Texas, and just doing my little part in my little corner of Indiana to help out with Healing Humanity. So I can't wait to see more. When they finally get an actual trailer together. We've all seen the teaser. If you haven't seen the teaser, go to Healing Humanity movie and check out the teaser. It's really great. So just kind of lastly, Dr. Kiltz, how can everyone find you in the world? And again, thank you for coming on.
Well, my pleasure. Go to Hoosier Carnivore and Brett and just Google Kiltz. But I'm YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, craziness. I have books on Amazon. I've written books on faith, inspiration, living your best life, fertility, and keto carnivore. And I just really grateful to everyone for inviting me. I think I got something to get up to do every day.
Yeah.
And I'll be at Lisa Wiedemann's meetup the 7th. Audra Coleman's on the 21st of September. I'll be in Wyoming. I think the 20. I don't know exactly what date in August, and then I'll be at the Keto Summit, and then the meat stock next year. Again, back to Hack Your Health. Love these events. Love people connecting. Carnivore diet. I have a book called Babies for Babies. Carnivore is good for pre-pregnancy, pregnancy, post-pregnancy, breastfeeding. Your baby should do it when it's breastfeeding. Again, it's the most amazing. I just caught a couple of questions. So,
all right. Nice to see you, Dr. Kiltz.
Brent, pleasure. I want to get a steak, and I'll bring. If I come out to Indianapolis next time, I'm getting a steak with you, my friend. And,
absolutely.
Appreciate everyone being here. So thank you.
Yep. And go check out Dr. Kiltz's website. If you get up at 5 in the morning, he's on there. Start your day off with a dose of Dr. Kiltz's energy. It's great. It's a great way to start your day. And, come to my meetup if you're around the Indianapolis area. This Sunday at noon, we'll be raising money for Healing Humanity, doing all kinds of giveaways. And I'm going to be matching dollar for dollar every dollar that's raised this Sunday for Healing Humanity. So again, Dr. Kiltz, thank you so much for coming out. We love your energy. We love talking to you, and hope to talk to you again soon.
All right. God bless. I'll see you guys soon. Take care, everyone.
God bless you, sir. Bye.
Thank you.